Alright, you guys, welcome back to another video. Real quick before we start, we're really super excited to start this new format off. I think the new set, Ultra Prism, really gave us a lot of cool stuff to work with in terms of U150, a lot better than the last couple sets we've had. So hopefully we can get inspired to have some more content. Grady and I were kind of getting burnt out because we played so many games of U150. Then we had the tournament, then Christmas, then school started, then there's just a lot of stuff. So I know it's a lot of excuses and not a lot of us, it's excuses is what it is. So we've already built like 5 lists and we're starting to build more stuff. So hopefully we'll get some more videos, probably more so on the weekend just because of school and whatnot. But this first one we're going to look at, I wanted to start off with just Empoleon because Empoleon's getting new. I wanted to start with Magnezone, something stupid and cheap before getting into the heavy stuff, but then Grady and I got a stroke of inspiration, and today we're going to start with some heavy stuff. So we're going to actually look at the somewhat hyped up PleGX Cyrus deck. Now, Lackey, being Lackey, hasn't put Ultra Prism on there. I wouldn't expect them to put Ultra Prism on there, but they probably won't put Ultra Prism on there for another, 4 months. So until then, I'll put all the Ultra Prism stars off to the side. They finally put Crimson Invasion and Burning Shadows. Burning Shadows? That's the one I'm looking? Yes? I don't know. Crimson Invasion? No. I don't know. They put the new sets on here, finally. So we're a little bit updated on Lackey, except for Ultra Prism. So this deck revolves around the combo between Cyrus and PleGX from Sylveon. Now, if you don't know what Cyrus does, it says, this got mistranslated, by the way, if you didn't know that news update. You have to have a metal Pokemon or a water Pokemon in your active for Cyrus to take effect. But when you play it, your opponent chooses 2 benched and shuffles the rest of them. So then you use PleGX to put 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon all cards back into your opponent's hand, and then you knock them out with some sort of burn or poison. Generally, Salazzle's going to do the trick, and that thus wiping their entire board in 1 turn. So Grady and I just got done talking for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours on this deck, and we haven't played any decks with it. It was purely just theory, and we wanted to get it out as soon as possible because a lot of you were requesting it, talking about it. It's very, very hyped, and it seems actually legitimately pretty scary. So one of the cards, I just want to kind of talk about the combo. So we know about Cyrus, we know about PleGX, that is the combo. Now, one of the things we discussed at length was how we should get PleGX out, what we should necessarily do. Should we evolve into EV, burn the turn, getting into a GX, risk getting Porygon Z'd, just so we can try to PleGX the next turn with a DCE? Or do we try to use Mew and see it off? And here was the argument based off that. With PleGX, Porygon Z shuts you down completely because they can just keep Porygon Zing you. You can never get Sylveon out because of the GX ruling in U150, and they can keep Hex looping you because your combo is relied very much on abilities. It's very much relied on Salazzle and the new Infernape, 2 abilities that you need to win to get the combo, pretty much. So Hex and Porygon Z shut you down. Whereas See Off from Mew, once you see it off, all you need to do is use Lost Link to copy PleGX. And there, you're only being shut off by Hex. You're not actually being shut off by opposing initializes. So that's why we decided to go with Mew. It's about the same amount of setup anyways in the early games because you need a burn a turn using See-Off or you need a burn a turn GX evolving. It's the same exact thing. So I think Mew works a little bit better. It is also easier to charge up Mew because you can use counter energy because odds are you're going to be down in prizes considering this deck doesn't take prizes. You can use counter energy combined with a Dimension Valley to use PleGX with 1 energy attachment using those 3 combos there. So Mew just kind of, we leaned towards Mew over anything else. So the combo then is you use Cyrus, you use PleGX, you evolve into Salazzle and use Hot Poison to leave your opponent's active Pokemon burned and poisoned, and then you use the new Infernape with Flaming Fighter, 6 damage counters instead of 2. So between burn and poison, ooh, hi there. Between burn and poison, sorry, this is embarrassing. You are doing 70 damage between the turns. So if their opponent's active Pokemon has 70 HP or less, they will die from poison. They don't have no bench, they bench out. Porygon 2s famously have 70 HP. Anything with 80 HP like Claydol, we do play a Crobat G to get it up to that 80. You'll Flash Bite, then Hot Poison, then do your combo, and they die. So if that all makes sense, that's how the combo works. The rest of the stuff is pretty much standard support Pokemon. I will go over some of the cute ones. You can see there's a couple extra ones that you normally aren't used to seeing. Oh, by the way, it is a 2-1-1 line. We are playing both the Chimchars from the new sets. This one because it's the only Chimchar with free retreat, and this one because it is a 60 HP with 1 retreat. It's the best Chimchar in terms of those statistics there. And then the Infernape, and then we're playing the Monferno that has free retreat from Platinum. The Slazzle line is a 2-1. You can play the new Salandit. We didn't look. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's 60 or 70, but if it's 70, you'd play the new Salandit. I just didn't kind of look. So 2-1 line there, just to consistency and whatnot. I'm gonna go a couple of the cute Pokemon, then I'll go over some of this. It is a lot. This deck did take us, like I said, 2 hours to talk about. We still haven't played it yet though. I don't know, what cute thing we were talking about. First one was Unknown R. Now, this is a card that Grady has been kind of trying to, you know, he's trying to campaign to me about more often. And what it is you swoop teleporter one of your Pokemon into Unknown R, and then you retire it to free up a bench space. It's a pretty good way. We all know how good Scoop Up and Fuji are for getting bench space, but Swoop almost never really does that. It just kind of gets up more setup is really what it is. It's just a way to get your Lapras off. But this is a way just to get something off of your bench and free up the bench space to put something down instead of swooping into it. I don't know. It's something that he's kind of campaigning for. We'll try it. We'll see how it is. If we don't like it, then we're going to take it out. So that's what the Unknown is. The other couple cards here, the next one I wanted to talk about was Jirachi. Now, this one gives you a second water Pokemon to activate Cyrus. Now, if you looked at this deck, there's no water, no metal Pokemon besides some Lapras. And that was kind of the idea, is Lapras is in every single deck, so you're going to bench it, support navigation, you're going to either switch or escape rope into it, use Cyrus, and then retreat with Floatstone or Fluffy Berry. I kind of wanted to have a free retreating water Pokemon or a free retreating metal Pokemon to kind of boost that consistency up, and the best Pokemon by far for that was Jirachi from Rising Rivals. It's got free retreat, it is a setup Pokemon with Detour, and Final Wish is actually going to give you a good part of that combo, because when it gets knocked out, you can search your deck for any card. Probably teammates, maybe even just like your Floatstone if you have your Lapras on the field already. It's a great setup Pokemon, and if you don't need to get it knocked out, it's a free retreating metal Pokemon, so you don't need a switch, you don't need a Floatstone, you don't need anything else to get your Lapras out of the active. So that's why we played Jirachi. Now, like I said, one of the combos with shutting off Mew is Hex Looping over and over again. And it's the same kind of strategy that we had for when you play against Shiftry and whatnot. The only difference between this and Shiftry and Bronze Arm Break and that sort of thing is that this has energies in it. So we're allowed to play something that can attack. So we're going to play the Sableye from Guardians Rising. Has a limitation, your opponent can't play any supporter cards from their hand on their next turn, shutting off their Hex. And if they can't Hex you, then the next turn you get your combo going. The glorious part about this, and the reason we said this was so hot, was because a Rosie's Research, where are you at, girl? Rosie's Research gets you a basic Pokemon in Sableye and a basic Dark Energy, which we're playing one of. So you can get that limitation pretty quick as long as you have that Rosie's Research. Not necessarily super hard to get, and if you get Hexed, you can't Lapras for it, obviously, but you just need to get the Rosies out. Really quite cool there. Initially, we were playing was it Dialga G to item lock them, so hopefully they can't play the Versus Seeker, but then we realized that wasn't necessarily energy efficient, so then we were going to try to play the 1-1 Blockade from Executor from Plasma Freeze. Then we were like, oh, that's 2 spots, and then the Sableye just kind of made sense. We remembered about it, or Grady more accurately remembered about it, and Limitation will shut off that Hex pretty easily. Pretty hot tech. And then the last tech that we have is Take Out Machamp. Now this one might be a little confusing at first because you're like, okay, you're not taking prizes with this. What the heck? Like, why would you ever see off Machamp? Well, this is in case your opponent is just playing some big, beefy, basic Pokemon, something with more than 70 HP, like 130, 140, 150. Or, it's not U1, it's U150, so no. 130, 140, something with more than 70, and something with more than 80, 90 with a scoop up, something that you can't hot poison knock out in one hit, because you can't knock anything out in one hit. The only thing you can knock out is Sylveon, but if they're hexing you over and over again, you're not going to be able to, no. You could just Fairy Wind, I suppose. You could just Fairy Wind. Right? You could just 110 damage Fairy Wind them. But the cool part about See-Off now is, with the Machamp, is if it is the 130, if it is a 140, something that Fairy Wind's not necessarily going to knock out, you can See-Off the Take Out Machamp, and now they have to bench another Pokemon. And if they bench that another Pokemon, you can Lysander it up. Hopefully it's got less than 130 HP. You can knock it out with Hot Poison after a Cyrus. Or not a Cyrus, but a Plee-GX. That's why we played the Machamp Takeout. You know, we didn't really talk about the fact that you could just probably Fairy Wind them to death. But, you know, Machamp. If you find, we haven't, you know, like I said, this is all theory. If we haven't actually, you know, when we go and play test this, if we find we're not using the Takeout Machamp in the scenarios, we're going to purposefully set up some scenarios where you're only putting an 130 HP Pokemon out there. If we find that Machamp's not doing the trick, then, like, and Plee-GX is or Fairy Wind is enough, then we'll just take out the Machamp. But the cool part of Machamp is it's 1 energy, so you don't need the Dimension Valley to start using Fairy Wind with counter energy. You can just straight up attach the Prism, right? It's a great way of putting a lot of pressure on your opponent if they just start like draw passing with a big Pokemon on the active. So, I don't know. It's one thing that we're trying. I think it's a great little inclusion. Pretty hot tech. So, that should do it for the Pokemon. There is a little bit extra Pokemon in here, some thicker lines, just to give you that little extra consistency. I know this video is already kind of long, 10 minutes, and I know I have a lot to go over, so thanks for bearing with me here. This deck is kind of crazy. Whoopsies. Seems like a lot of fun. Seems actually pretty good. So, supporter line, there shouldn't be anything kind of crazy in here. You're always going to be behind, so Ace Trainer gives you a little extra consistency. I think the one thing to note here is that there's only Juniper and not Sycamore, and that's because you don't want to discard your Cyrus. Cyrus is the thing is that ever hits the discard pile, it'll go to the lost zone, thus making your combo impossible to hit. You need to get this turn in 1. If you miss the combo, if you miss the Plee-GX and Cyrus, you just straight lose. Grady and I theoried a way to, like, okay, what if you miss the combo? 1 goes to the lost zone, you use your GX attacks, then what? What do you do after that? We discussed it a little bit and realized, like, there was really no fallback option. So if this goes into your lost zone by any means, you just straight lose. So we wanted to limit the amount of draw supporters that are going to be discard based, so we only play Juniper and not Sycamore. And if you notice, we are also playing Copycat, where are you at? Copycat and Cynthia. And Cynthia is one of the new cards. Shuffle Draw 6 is the same as Pont, and we publicly stated that Cynthia was going to be going in every single deck to replace Copycat because it's more consistent than Copycat. Yeah, Copycat can probably give you some more cards later in the game, especially combined with Erica here. I really like the combo between Erica and Copycat, but since we want an extra draw supporter, Cynthia, instead of replacing Copycat, replaces Sycamore, if that makes sense. Everything else is really, really standard. We're playing Twins because we're always behind. We're playing Teammates, Skyla, Guzma. You'll notice that we're also missing, the other missing inclusion is Lysander, and that's because you're really only going to want to bring up something that has 70 HP or less, presumably they're Porygon 2, and between Gust of Wind and Guzma, it's probably going to be enough. So, no Lysander just to give us some extra space. Lucamine is to grab back extra supporters and to grab back D-Valley. That's why that's in there. Give it a little extra consistency. And that should probably about do it for supporters. Pokemon or items. Yeah, items. It should be kind of fairly standard. I'm trying to think if there's anything like super weird that's not pictured. I mean, you have Dual Ball, Timer Ball, Special Charge, some stuff you normally don't see. We are still playing Misty's Wrath. That was one card that we did consider cutting because of the Cyrus thing. But I said the turn that you're playing Misty's Wrath is probably the turn that you're digging for the combo anyways. So you're going to want to pick the Cyrus as one of your 2 cards you pick from the 7. So you're never going to be like, oh, dang it, oh crap, I have to discard this. You're always just going to pick it and play it. So Misty's Wrath there. You're playing an Erica just for some extra ways to draw. We're playing both Mallow and Oracle as that extra, like, you know, oomph to really get into your Pokemon. So Erica is a way to draw that instead of just Bill or Oak or Claydol. Great little inclusion there. We like Erica a lot, especially with Copycat now being, instead of a staple card in every single deck, it's kind of a niche tech supporter in certain things, like Blaine's Last Resort, this deck, that sort of thing. So Erica helps that for your one big turn that you want to go off. Everything else should be kind of standard. Your 3 items, you're playing the 2 floats, obviously, for Lapras to get that out of the active. Rescue Star to keep your Mew going. Or stadiums, you have Broken Time Space for early game setup, but you're really going to want that D-Valley so that you can attack with counter energy on Mew to use Plea. And if you already have an energy on there and you just need to attach like another energy or whatnot, you still have Skyfield because bench space is kind of gross here. Here's your energy line. Unfortunately, we can't play many other double rainbow type effects because you have to be on evolved Pokemon, non-EX Pokemon, or something. It's got a limitation. So counters are really your only option. Um, but you're going to be able to get it on the turn you get your combo anyways. We're really banking a lot into that combo. Like I said, we haven't really tested this deck at all. We just theoried it, so this is still kind of raw. Keep an eye out on the page. If we ever update it, we'll definitely let you know, because this deck is very, very hype going into the next U150 format. I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that I should really go over that's kind of weird that we really, really pointed out here. Pokemon Center is your spread counter. We don't have a counter to Noivern Garb. We think you just lose to that deck. Even if you play one copy of Eevee, we just think you lose to Noivern Garb. We theory crafted it a little bit, and you just straight lose to the most busted deck in the format. So, that's about does it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know. I'm sorry this one was a little bit longer than normal, but like I said, most of you really requested this and thought I was hyped up. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said, more videos to come shortly. We are doing a lot more with this next format. It's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go to bed now.